Hey guys, it's your best boxing friends. I'm Kelsey. This is Rachel. Rachel, a huge event in boxing happened over the weekend. I won an award.
Well, Kelsey, you won first place for column.
I tied for
first place for column by the Boxing Writers Association of America, the BWAA. And tell us a little bit about the piece that you wrote that tied for first in column.
Well, Rachel, the piece that I wrote that tied for first. I just want to point out here that you're watching the only YouTube boxing show that we're aware of, at least, that publishes often with an award-winning boxing writer. That's right. And not only that, but Rachel's here, and she's even better. I mean, why haven't you liked, comment, and subscribed yet? You're kind of blowing this if you haven't. Yeah, I'm really excited that I mean, I had no idea I would even come close to winning this awesome thing.
Well, we had talked about, so Kelsey had asked me about this piece and when they were taking entries, right? So the BWAA takes entries and you have to enter your writing into it. And for that year, so I guess this is for 2018.
Yeah.
You actually hadn't written as much as you had in maybe years
the last
past,
2
or
years
definitely this of 2019.
The last 2 years had been like pretty low, both quality and quantity of content. Yeah, and this last year I went and looked through the kind of the best stuff that I wrote, and I was like, I don't even think I have anything to submit. I don't understand the categories really. And I was like, well, I remember that people, when I wrote this, that people liked it.
Responded to it. So you wrote a piece when
and
Tyson Fury
maybe like 8 people,
was making his comeback.
Yeah.
After having struggled with addiction, and you wrote a piece about that.
And so that, it was really special for me because here was Tyson Fury, who had, been suicidal, who had struggled with addiction, who had these mental health issues, and who was on his comeback, right? This is before he fought Deontay Wilder. It was when he was just coming back into boxing. And of course, there's the Rolling Stone interview that had come out a year or two before that with Tyson Fury, where he talks about his deep depression. And so I identify with broken and unwanted things, right? Lost, broken, and unwanted things. And here I saw Tyson Fury doing all this good and being an advocate for people who maybe sometimes don't have a voice because they're in depression or they're in addiction or both, whatever ailments they have. And I was like, oh, I'm like that. I have these things in my life. And seeing what Tyson Fury was doing inspired me not to write that thing, but to just like live life. It was really inspiring to see him. And Mauro Ranallo is another inspiring person who deals with his own mental health battles, and he made that documentary and is a big advocate for people with mental health issues. And so I remember thinking like, oh, this touches my heart a lot, and I would like to maybe write about that kind of stuff that's been in a lot of life. And I remember when I wrote it, thinking like, I don't know, is this like, first of all, does anybody care? Secondly, like, is this even like worth talking about? And third, is like this, am I saying too much? But seeing what kind of Tyson Fury talked about his own life, he was real open and honest. And Mauro Ranallo doing the same thing. I thought, well, I can do that. I don't have near as big a platform as these people. Nobody cares who Kelsey McCarson is, but these guys are celebrities who have a lot to lose in a way, if you think about it in that way. And they're still being honest. And I thought, well, maybe I can share kind of what has been going on in my life and tie it to Tyson Fury and how that might help. However, like many people read this, which I assume wouldn't be that many, right? And so, I think that it's really awesome when something touches your heart and elicits an emotional response. And often in my life, I've used writing for that reason. So I've written things about people, places, or things whenever I feel an emotional pull towards that. And I'm told some of the better things that I've written have been from that and not about who did you talk to, where did you go, like, did you interview this person? It's been more about, oh, what feeling did you have that caused you to want to write about?
Well, and vulnerability can be can spark connection. So in your own life, like dealing with people face to face, it's vulnerabilities where you're going to build connection with people. And so when I read the piece that you wrote about Tyson Fury, like you did take a risk because it's always risky to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
That's why we
at least
resist
feels
it.
risky. Yeah.
Right. And so, but you did it and you shared. It was very personal, and it also I felt like when I read it that it also helped me to understand Tyson Fury, who is a celebrity. Sometimes I can put like celebrities, I can kind of dehumanize celebrities where I don't think that they have a regular life or they don't have real feelings or they don't experience things in the same way. And I kind of put them off over here. And some people might have like laughed at Tyson Fury. They might have ridiculed Tyson Fury. They might have done like thought poorly of Tyson Fury. But I thought when I read your piece, that it gave me like a window into what this is really like because Tyson Fury has shared a lot, but he also he doesn't have the same kind of platform to really like lay bare and get real. Like we're not there. He hasn't been interviewed by, I don't know, Oprah or somebody where we're just getting like everything. So I thought your piece like gave like people an opportunity to see somebody who had gone through something similar as Tyson Fury and see what it's really like.
Yeah, and I know that just beyond this piece or this topic that Tyson Fury helped Kelsey McCarson, and I'm sure he's helped a lot of other people
Oh yeah.
in just being the best Kelsey McCarson. I remember seeing him at what would be his worst when he, like, do you see how much weight he had gained and like how terrible out of shape he looked and how he had clearly been on, drinking and using drugs and stuff like that. But what I saw in Tyson Fury that was remarkable was that he accepted himself as he is. Even then, like he was jovial, he was laughing, he was fighting the good fight, and he was fighting it for himself and for others. But he was loving himself the whole time. Tyson Fury loves himself, and that's something I think that we can all learn from, and why he's so authentic and why people love Tyson Fury is because he does that. And so for me in my own life, just seeing his fall and rise again has really inspired me to think about myself in different ways, And so I'm really grateful for Tyson Fury, what he's done in his career, and for people like Tyson Fury who openly talk about mental health issues. I have mental health issues. I think a lot of people do. I have mental health, spiritual health, physical health issues. Everybody has issues. And so I'm really grateful that I got to write about that stuff. I'm grateful that it elicited a positive response. I almost didn't send it in to the contest, so I didn't only send the one thing in the contest. I remember looking at all the categories and technically having stuff for everything, but I was like, I don't know. I didn't really feel like I wrote anything that great last year. You know what I mean? And except that I was like, well, this is probably the best thing I wrote this year. I remember people liked it, and I remember thinking, I'll send it in, and either the people that read it, because it's like there's like a panel of people, and they remove your name and your affiliation and stuff, and just read it. They don't know where it's from or who wrote it. So and I remember thinking like the people that they get to read it, they're either going to really love this or they're going to hate it, right? Because it's a journalism contest basically. It's boxing journalism, and this is not what they teach you in journalism school. Is not to use like I and not to. You see what I'm saying?
I don't know anything about journalism school.
In journalism, the person writing the story is not the story.
Okay? Oh, so you're saying you brought a lot of yourself into this story?
I'm saying I broke the rules. Yeah, I brought a lot of myself in the story, but that was the story, and it was a story that helped tell the story of Tyson Fury.
Well, and this is also a good lesson in that you entered this piece in. You didn't think you had written a lot that year that was worth, and I'm sure that you doubted whether you should even enter this in.
Yeah.
And so sometimes
I totally almost didn't. I was like, well,
we can doubt ourselves and listen to that negative self-talk, the voices that are like, nothing you did was good enough. Why even bother? I have that voice a lot. It's like, why even bother? And so, but like it can be really hard to ignore those voices and do it anyway. Because like it's hard to enter something like you're writing and then say like nothing happened. Say it didn't get recognized like for anything.
Which was my expectation.
Even if it's your expectation, it still is like,
Still you put yourself out there, and that is always difficult to do.
Yeah.
Whenever I write something,
Or imagine if you enter in like 20 things, or I don't know how many you
Yeah,
enter
and
in,
like nothing.
but like you get nothing back. All of those, like none of those are good reasons to like stop being like the
Right.
best you can be, or putting yourself out there.
Yeah, and like I'm really grateful for it. I never ever thought ever that I would get first place in a contest like this. Um, the previous year, which was the first year I was eligible, I got honorable mention, and I was surprised at that. I was like, "Wow, I had no idea that I could do that," and that's awesome. Um, but at the same time, that stuff really doesn't matter all that much. You know what I mean? Like there's so many great riders in boxing, particularly Springs Toledo and Mark Kriegel, David Greisman and Bart Berry and Jimmy Tubb. There's just tons and tons of great riders who, when I read Springs Toledo and Mark Kriegel, like I'm like, I can't do that. You know what I mean? Like the way that they're right, I cannot do that. But again, going back to Tyson Fury doesn't try to be Deontay Wilder or doesn't try to be Anthony Joshua. He just is Tyson Fury, and so that's another lesson I've learned. It's like just be you, just be
Well, and
myself.
when you're just you, that's also when you make
Um,
great connections with people outside of yourself, because that's authentic, and people are attracted to people that are genuine and authentic. And you can only be genuine and authentic if you're being 100% you.
Yeah.
If you're trying to be somebody else, then it's going to come across as inauthentic. And people, like, I don't like it when people are inauthentic. And I struggle with the same thing. Like, I find myself looking at other people and being like, oh, I'll try to do what they're doing. Instead of thinking, well, what does Rachel want to do? And maybe Rachel just does that.
So I'm just really grateful for the award. I'm grateful for the people that come and watch our show. I'm grateful when you like, comment, and subscribe.
Congratulations to Kelsey
Thanks.
on winning, being recognized by the BWAA.
I'm thinking at the end here, at the end credits, we're gonna scroll in like the end of Return of the Jedi, where they celebrate like at Naboo and Coruscant and stuff like that. That's part of my celebration spectacular.
Okay.
Is that weird?